Hey guys, I'm Jen. So that thumbnail was a lot easier to make this time around. I think I've tried to make a similar video before on other channels, and just looking at the photos that I posted on my thumbnail, it made me uneasy because I wasn't sure that that was the last time a flare-up was going to happen, and it seemed like tempting fate. If you know what I mean. It's just, I don't know, a little superstitious about it, but it's been about a year now since I've had a flare-up. So it was totally easy to put that thumbnail together, and this video feels really ready, you know? Okay, let's get into it. I have healed myself of autoimmune symptoms by removing harsh chemicals, removing toxic people, and leaving stressful environments. I went from having flare-ups a couple of times a month to not having one in a year, and having a better baseline at that, because before I was always teetering on the edge of having an autoimmune response, but now, like, my baseline it's calmed way down, and I have confidence that I'm not going to have an attack out of nowhere. A few years ago is when I started to have sensitivities to chemicals and fragrances. I was not always that way, and it would be to the point where if I went to a coffee shop or a cafe, I would have to get up and leave if they started to clean the tables around me, just because of the fumes from the sprays. And I'd feel really bad if I went out with friends to brunch or for coffee and the place was heavily scented, like maybe they used the Febreze wall sockets or again started cleaning around us, because I would be the reason that we'd have to leave early. Then in 2023, I temporarily moved to a new city. My ex-husband got medically injured, so I temporarily moved to Northwest Arkansas to help him find a specialist and to liaise like his medical history and stuff like that. And thank goodness I worked remotely. Now, this was a place that the local news reported on current pollen and mold count in the air. I'm from the cold, dry north, and I had never heard of mold spores just being in the air. Now it makes sense to me, but back then it wasn't a thing on my mind, right? But this was the time frame that I hit my lowest of lows. My body went completely on the fritz. My eyes would swell shut for sometimes a week at a time. My face would burn, and I had a myriad of other symptoms. And as if working remotely and living alone in a new city that you knew no one in wasn't lonely enough, looking and feeling like a balloon that was on fire did not make me want to put myself out there. And despite my sensitivities, I still had to clean my house. I bought the most natural brands you could find in the store, and I still had to shield myself when I sprayed the cleaner. I was miserable. I was lonely and sick all of the time. And then I realized there was a Mercy hospital locally, and not just any Mercy hospital, actually the Northwest Arkansas one in Rogers had a few accolades. Like they had a 5-star CMS rating, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and they had a 5-star rating. So I was very excited. When I got there, their service, their efficiency was great. It was outstanding. And I got to my doctor and I explained to him my symptoms, what was going on. And he basically told me that, look, there's pollen and try taking Benadryl. And I felt so defeated. Like I didn't try to take Benadryl already. Okay, like that wasn't step one before I came to Mercy Hospital. Yeah, I was really defeated. The only consolation he could give me was referring me to get allergy tested, but that was months out. And by this point, I was already washing my face multiple times a day because of pollen, icing my eyelids because of the swelling, sparingly using my cleaning spray, and taking antihistamines. Now I'd get called out during work meetings for not having my Zoom camera turned on. Like no, bro, I'm not gonna have the team watch me dying in some corner of Arkansas, okay? It was just such a bad time. So in my desperate search to find anything that would help me, even though I knew that this was like internal responses going on, I still needed something to help me. I discovered this lid and lash spray by this company called Avenova, and they had raving reviews. I bought it right away. And when it delivered, I read the label more closely and I recognized the solution. It was pure hypochlorous acid. The reason I recognized it was because I had a small little device that created a solution to clean produce. And that solution is hypochlorous acid. So like, what the heck was I spraying my face with? Whatever it was, it worked. I remember feeling so relieved that this helped even just a little bit. It didn't cure everything, but it was something that could tone it down. And so that made me really curious about this compound, and I dove deep into hypochlorous acid research. What I discovered was just astounding. and I was confident enough to replace my harshest chemicals with hypochlorous acid because it's used in like every industry actually. It is a great sanitizer. It kills viruses, pathogens. It's as safe as water, which is why that company could sell it as an eye spray. Anywho, I really bought into it. At the time, the biggest culprits were pet cleaning solutions and countertop sprays. So I replaced that with hypochlorous acid. Today, I only use hypochlorous acid and one other organic soap. So I don't have any chemical cleaners in the home because of all that I've learned in the time since then. Between using hypochlorous acid on my eyes and using it all around my house, my histamine responses were in check. I felt like I could think again. This was the first step in my holistic approach to regaining myself. I could confidently clean my house. There were no offensive odors, chemicals, and my body could calm down. So after my lease ended, and I never got my allergy test, by the way, I moved to the Pacific Northwest. I quit my stressful job and I piddled around in nature. I even started a YouTube channel for all my camping adventures. And now I host a community of people who are also dedicated to cleaning up their lifestyles and healing themselves and their families. I am so grateful to not be in that state of misery anymore. Like, not all of my days are good, but my faculties are. Mind, body, and spirit, I am online. And I now know that that is real wealth. I am in a state where I can think and I can figure things out. My body is not in constant defense mode, and I'm not just conserving energy. Also, I really feel like I've gained dominion of my home. And to someone who doesn't have sensitivities like this, that it might sound weird, like why would I lose dominion of my home in the first place? Well, I have pets, right? So if my cat pukes on the carpet, because that's the only place they would puke, as cat owners know, it's not that I'm annoyed that I have to get out the shampooer. I dread the chemicals that I'd have to use to get the stain out, because I know days after I use it, I am skirting that area. I don't want to go near it. I'm holding my breath as I pass by. There's so much friction around cleaning my house and housekeeping. And any kind of mess that happened, I was just a lot more tense about because I did not want to deal with the chemical cleaners. I dreaded everything about the cleaning process. That is not the case anymore. I genuinely enjoy cleaning my space. I genuinely enjoy knowing that when I hose something down, like those germs are gone. And I'll tell you what, if you don't have the sensitivities, again, this probably does not resonate with you, but even if you're not sensitive, you just don't like breathing in chemicals, because who likes doing that? Being able to clean something thoroughly and like go to town and not just feel good about the sanitization and the cleanliness of it, but feel totally safe about the things you're using in your home and that you're walking through and that you're breathing in. It's a different feeling. Like I actually feel at home, you know? And if you don't, if you're skirting things or you're avoiding places and patches around your home, are you really even at home? You know what I mean? I feel like that was a demarcation of an era. The things that I was used to doing, the way that I was used to living versus now, because all these things seemed normal. I'd see other people do it. I know friends and family like had the same chemicals and we all just kind of like maybe had the same pains, but took it as a part of life. And I just know now that's not the case. And on that note, there are things that we deal with that we've accepted as part of life, like chemical-based cleaners. And I think the cleaning market has us in a chokehold and has led us to believe that the chemicals that cause the noxious fumes are required to kill germs. And that's just not true. Also, psychologically, we've bought into the finishing touch effect that fragrances give us. So when your space smells like lemon or grapefruit after you've cleaned, as synthetic as they smell, it does cue our brain to say, hey, this place smells clean, must be clean. It is definitely a psychological cue. It's like positive reinforcement that you did a good thing. And if you don't have the awareness of the VOCs that are in chemicals or the hormone disruptors in fragrances, then you'll probably feel rewarded by the so-called fresh scent that a cleaner will leave behind. Don't buy into it. There are natural ways to fragrance your home. But the silver lining to my hellish experience with all this is that I was forced to find the best products. I was forced to find out about good compounds and good solutions for your home and for your body. And I was able to replace all of my chemical cleaners, not just with things that clean, but with things that heal. I would still be using awful products from greenwashed labels if it weren't for that catastrophe of a year. And that's how I healed myself, friends. I mentioned my community earlier. It's called The Clean Element. The link is in the description. Also, feel free to reach out to me directly if you're needing more one-on-one guidance like I could have used back in 2023. And I wish you health and wealth. Thank you guys. Take care.